Well, the last time that we reconciled, that was very frightening. He was freebasing cocaine, and I was asleep on the floor, and he woke me up coming into the room I was asleep in, moving things around. And I woke up, and he drugged me into the bathroom and ripped off, started ripping off my clothes. And then he just, I looked into his eyes and I could tell that he was gone. The person that I knew was not there anymore at all. And he just started punching me in my face, and my nose started bleeding, and there was just blood everywhere. I was so frightened. I thought that I would not live through that night.
Hurting people. Alone. Wounded. And forgotten. Starving for more than just food. Who is going to help them?
So I called the crisis center in Bellevue, I believe it is, and they referred me first to another shelter. I called and they were full, and they referred me to the Salvation Army Catherine Booth House. They've just helped me in a lot of ways. It's just nice to know, that there are people that you can turn to when you need help. For a long time I just felt like there was nobody who understood what I was going through. And now I know that there are people who care.
The Salvation Army. Giving. Sharing. Serving. Changing our community and our world. One life at a time. It began in 1865 when one man, a minister of the gospel named William Booth, and his wife Catherine opened their hearts to the unwanted and unloved in London's East End. Prostitutes, beggars, and thieves became the unlikely soldiers in Booth's army, fighting hunger, disease, and spiritual emptiness with the invisible weapon of love. But the battlefield was bigger than England, and in 1887, Captain and Mrs. Alfred Harris brought the Salvation Army to Seattle and King County. From Pioneer Square to Federal Way, North Bend to Renton, they reached out. Through crisis and calm, the needs have always been with us, and so has the Salvation Army, feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, saving the lost. Just imagine if you were suddenly evicted from your home or lost your job with no money and nowhere to turn. People with next to nothing come to an Army Corps Community Center for the food they can't afford, the bed they don't own, the peace they so desperately seek. Or suppose you're one of the 16,000 women and children physically and sexually abused in King County. The Salvation Army shelters battered, abused mothers and their kids whose lives are threatened.
What was it that made you finally leave?
Well, I just couldn't stand it anymore. I had been beaten and abused, and I just couldn't stand it anymore.
And inside the Army's Catherine Booth House, they find love, someone who will listen and care and help them start over. Like those who have turned to the cruel companion of alcohol, a needle, or pills. Some without a family, or without a place to rest their head. Here at the Army's Harbor Light Center and Adult Rehabilitation Center, professional counselors become friends. And through hard work and constant care, a life is changed.
That day that I walked in the Salvation Army, that was Well, mentally I wasn't thinking too good. I was shaking from alcohol shakes and lost a lot of weight and scared. You know, didn't know what was going to go on, how things were going to work out, and they welcomed me with a handshake and talked to me a little bit, fed me, and 2 hours or 3 hours after I got in there, they let me in. They listened and they gave me advice, and they're my friends. I think that's one thing I've never had is friends, and they were good friends. But usually when I wake up, I say my prayers. I talk to God for a little bit, and that gets my day going. He listens to what I say, and it just gives me that boost of energy, and I have a good future. I can see the end of the tunnel, and it's a good feeling. Without God, I would not be here now, and I recognize that He's the Lord and He's the Savior. He saved me. He saved me from death. You know, He gave me another second chance. Salvation Army is a good deal. I thank God they were there for me. Without them, it's hard to say where I'd be now. I might, be out here in the street again where I came from. And they helped me tremendously. Thank God for them.
Changing the world, one life at a time. Now we have the chance to multiply this promise in the lives of thousands through the most far-reaching plan in the Salvation Army's century of service. Through the Centennial Capital Campaign, we can help prevent the hurts that now surround us. Through the new multi-service center, the heartbeat of the Army's work in the heart of Seattle. Here, homeless families will find shelter. The hungry will be able to eat and learn a new skill, laugh and play. Here, drug and alcohol victims can finally be freed. Through the Capital Campaign, we can expand transitional housing for abused women and children who need continued support, safety, and help to rebuild their lives. We can bring new hope to the disadvantaged through new community centers in White Center and Federal Way, and in Central and South Seattle, where young and old can swim and play, relax, and eat. By enlarging the Seattle Temple Core Community Center, emergency counseling, daycare, and life-giving friendships can become a reality to Southeast Asian refugees and the growing number of working poor on the East Side, single parents, and forgotten children. Each day, their needs become more urgent.
You look at the people around you and you say, this can't be happening in my city, but it is. That's why the Salvation Army chose to embark on the most ambitious effort in our 100 years of service in King County. A capital campaign designed to raise $8 million so we can better serve those in need. By building some very needed new facilities, we're changing our community, one life at a time. When people say to me, I'm overwhelmed by all the need, what can I possibly do? I answer, it's not what can I do, it's what can we do together. Through the Salvation Army, we can make a difference. When we reach out and give, then we'll be able to share in life's greatest reward, to love and to know what Jesus meant when He asked us to give of ourselves.
For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. Is it nothing to you, all who pass by?